News home more from local Monday, May 21, 2018 12 AM. Share on Facebook, share on Messenger, share on Messenger, share on Twitter, share on WhatsApp. Kyle Dunbar. David Wynn stabbed to death on way home from Christmas party. A man who brutally stabbed a Christmas reveller in Swansea city centre following a brief confrontation has today been sentenced for murder. Kyle Dunbar launched the violent attack on David Wynn as he made his way home from a Christmas party on December 23. The two crossed paths minutes earlier on High Street, when 30-year-old Dunbar approached Mr. Wynn and tried to sell him perfume he had stolen earlier that day. Annoyed at being pestered by Dunbar, a brief altercation ensued, before 39-year-old Mr. Wynn continued to make his way home. But unwilling to leave the fight there, Dunbar followed Mr. Wynn further along High Street, where Mr. Wynn had gone to book taxi. A second scuffle ensued before Mr. Wynn again walked away and returned to station cabs, assuming Dunbar had finally left him alone. Instead, an infuriated Dunbar made his way down a nearby lane, where he armed himself with a glass bottle found on the floor, smashing the bottle against a wall. He then hunted down his victim. He launched an attack on Mr. Wynn, stabbing him to the neck as he stepped out of the taxi office and inflicting injuries from which he never recovered. Mr. Wynn died on Boxing Day at Morriston Hospital, with his family at his bedside. Dunbar was due to stand trial today, having previously admitted manslaughter but denying murder. He changed his plea to guilty this morning, and this afternoon was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment, handing down a life term. The judge described the attack as senseless, without any conceivable justification and deliberately brutal. Speaking after the case, David Wynn's distraught family said, "Di was a loving son, brother and father to 4 beautiful children. Di was a very generous and thoughtful person, who had a wicked smile and an incredible sense of humor which could light up any room. Everybody who knew him, loved him, and our lives will never be the same without him. This has been an incredibly difficult process, but we are glad that Kyle Dunbar has pleaded guilty murder. This has saved us from a full trial and hearing the full horrors of that night. We would like to thank everybody involved, including the paramedics and members of the public who tried so valiantly to save Di's life. We would also like to give special thanks to South Wales Police for all their hard work in this investigation." Detective Sergeant Peter Collins, from the Major Crime Investigation Team, said, "As always, our thoughts are with the family and friends of Mr. Wynn, whose lives have been destroyed by Kyle Dunbar's violent and reckless actions. Di was minding his own business on his way home when he was attacked. It was a brutal and pointless attack, and the nature of the attack shocked everyone involved in the case. I would like to pay tribute to those members of the first responders and staff at station cabs, who were faced with an absolutely horrific scene, but did all they could to help Di. I'd also like to thank those members of the public who assisted with the investigation. Once again, I would like to pass on my sincere condolences to the Wynn family, who have acted with great dignity throughout the investigation. I hope today's sentencing will provide them with some comfort as they continue to grieve their loss." Share on Facebook, share on Messenger, share on Messenger, share on Twitter, share on WhatsApp. More from local under 23s, changes at the Liberty New Deals offered to young swans. Changes to sex education in Wales. An updated curriculum will come in by 2022. Scarlett John Barkley has Achilles surgery. He was injured during Friday's win over